Libra love, listen closely because today is not an ordinary Monday. Today is your cosmic test. Something powerful has shifted around you. The universe has just handed you a miracle, and now it's watching to see if you're truly ready to hold it or if you'll fall back into the old patterns that once kept you stuck. That's what this message is about. This reading is not entertainment. It is a divine alert. A checkpoint in your soul's timeline. If you've been feeling a strange emotional release in the past few days, if someone toxic slipped away from your orbit without explanation, or if your heart has suddenly felt both lighter and more uncertain, know this: it's not random. It's real. You just crossed through the Scorpio new moon portal, and it didn't come to inspire you. It came to transform you. And now, on this sacred Monday, the energy is fragile. You're in a state of spiritual recovery, and what you choose to do or not do in the next few hours could either protect this new blessing or unintentionally dissolve it. So yes, Libra, this is a test. In astrology, we know that the moon doesn't just shine, it reveals. And as the moon begins to move out of its scorpionic shadows, your 12th house is activated, the hidden realm of past karma, unconscious habits, spiritual contracts, and soul-level truth. And today, your job is to guard what's been revealed. To protect what has been birthed. I'm not just here to read your chart. I'm here to help you keep your miracle. Because I know what it's like to do all the inner work, to manifest from your core, only to unknowingly let it all unravel with one unconscious choice. That's why I'm about to walk you through the 7 things you absolutely must not do today. And I say this not from fear, but from experience and from love. Because the truth is, most people lose their breakthroughs not because they weren't worthy, but because they weren't ready to protect them. Before we go deeper, I want you to pause. Close your eyes for a moment, Libra. Ask yourself quietly, what drew me here, right now? Your presence here isn't a coincidence. It's confirmation that you are ready and that your higher self guided you to this exact message for a reason. So if you're already feeling that tingle in your spirit, that quiet knowing that this message is speaking directly to you, drop a comment below and say, I am protected. I'm ready to live my highest timeline. Declare it. Claim it. Activate it. And let me take a moment to thank you genuinely. Every like, every comment, every subscriber who shows up here is part of the light that fuels this sacred space. Zodiac Whisper Tarot isn't just a channel, it's a spiritual family. And your support is what allows these divine messages to reach the souls who need them most. So thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for trusting your intuition. And thank you for believing in more, because there is more. And I promise you, Libra, you'll want to stay with me until the very end of today's message. Because what the universe is about to reveal is breathtaking. Let's begin. It often begins with a message, a ping, a comment, a familiar name suddenly appearing on your screen after weeks, maybe months, of silence. At first glance, it may seem like nothing. A coincidence. A harmless check-in. But when the timing feels just a little too aligned with your recent spiritual growth, you must pause and ask, what is the real purpose behind this reappearance? Libra, you've just stepped through a portal of transformation. The Scorpio new moon stripped away energetic residue you didn't even realize you were still carrying. People, patterns, and projections were lovingly but firmly removed from your field, not to hurt you, but to liberate you. And yet, the very moment the release completes, something ancient tries to return. That's not a failure on your part. It's simply how energy works. What's been cut will attempt to reattack, especially if it fed off your light. The Five of Swords is a spiritual warning that not everyone who reaches out is meant to be let back in. This card doesn't represent reconciliation or resolution. It symbolizes power dynamics, energetic manipulation, and unfinished karmic cycles that are begging to be closed, not reopened. When someone comes back just as you found clarity, their return may be less about love and more about access. They aren't necessarily drawn to your presence. They're drawn to the part of you they used to feed on. And this is where your courage is tested, not through confrontation, but through stillness. It's easy to respond, to explain, to justify your silence. But in some cases, silence is the highest expression of self-worth. It's not coldness, it's clarity. It's not rejection, it's reverence for your healed energy. This lesson, while deeply emotional, is also incredibly empowering. Because what's really happening here is a redefinition of your inner boundary system. You're not just choosing to say no to someone, you're choosing to say yes to the reality you're trying to build. Every no to the past is a yes to your future. And that's not just a mindset shift, it's a vibration shift. In moments like these, it's natural for the heart to ache. You may ask, but what if they've changed? What if they're reaching out because they really care? What if I'm being too harsh? Those questions are valid. They are also often echoes from the part of you that once believed love meant overextending. But true healing is learning to differentiate between missing someone and missing the comfort of being needed. When scripture says to guard your heart, it's not a call to close yourself off. It's an invitation to curate what you allow in, knowing your energy is a sacred wellspring from which your life flows. That's not spiritual elitism. That's wisdom earned through pain. And today, that wisdom must be applied not because you're being tested by others, but because you're being trusted by the universe to protect the frequency it helped you reach. Sometimes, the most profound act of self-love is to not reply. To witness the message, to feel the nostalgia, to grieve the chapter but still not open the door. And that's okay. It's not cruel. It's not petty. It's sacred discernment. So if today you find yourself tempted to look back, remember, you are not the same version of yourself that used to settle for breadcrumbs. You've cleared space for a full table. Don't trade it for a crumb just because it feels familiar. The more you honor your energy in silence, the louder the universe will speak on your behalf. And if you needed a sign to stay strong, this is it. Let your quiet refusal echo with strength. Let your stillness speak volumes. Let your boundaries be your new language of love. And if you feel that this part of the message was written exactly for you, I encourage you to comment below and affirm it. I honor my silence. I protect what's sacred. I choose my highest self. You're not just avoiding the past, you're choosing the timeline you were born for. Some of the most powerful transformations begin quietly beneath the surface, where no one can see. Libra, you may already sense that something within you is growing, a vision, a desire, a calling. Perhaps you've recently written down your intentions for the new moon cycle, or felt a subtle but undeniable shift in your thoughts, your dreams, or even in the way your body reacts to your surroundings. That's not your imagination. That's energy in motion. That's the sacred beginning of a miracle forming in the unseen. But here's the part most people miss. The energy you're cultivating is still tender. It's not ready to be explained, defended, or exposed. When you speak too soon about what you're manifesting, when you share your vision before it's strong enough to stand on its own, you risk weakening the very vibration you've just anchored. It's like digging up a seed after planting it out of excitement, out of hope, or simply to prove to someone that something is actually growing. The moment it's pulled from the darkness of the soil, it stops developing. The high priestess appears at this stage as a divine guide, not only reminding you of the beauty of silence but also of its power. In the tarot, she holds sacred knowledge and guards what cannot yet be spoken. She teaches us that wisdom often comes through stillness, that intuition grows in the quiet, and that not everything meant for you is meant for the world to see, at least not yet. Right now, you are being invited to trust in the timing of your life, without needing to announce every step you're taking. There's something incredibly healing about keeping your next chapter private while it's still being written. In this fast-paced digital world, we're often pressured to share every breakthrough, every dream, every spiritual download on social media. But what if the most sacred parts of your journey were never meant to be consumed by others' timelines? What if your growth needs space, darkness, and solitude just like every miracle of nature? Let this be your permission to hold your dreams close to your heart. Keep them wrapped in prayer, or in the quiet energy of meditation, or in the rhythm of journaling under candlelight. This isn't about hiding. It's about protecting. It's about creating a space where your soul can breathe without having to explain itself. And in that quiet space, your manifestations are free to expand, to align, and to root deeply within you. Sometimes, the greatest form of faith is choosing not to seek outside validation. Choosing to believe without needing others to echo your belief. Choosing to wait without proving. You may not realize it now, but this silence will speak louder in time than anything you could post or say today. And if you feel a need to talk to someone, talk to the version of you who already has what you're calling in. Ask her what she did to arrive there. Let her guide you through the uncertainty. In moments like these, God often speaks through intuition, through stillness, through the way your body feels when you're truly at peace with a decision. These are not just coincidences. They are signs of alignment. So Libra, before you share your next big move, ask yourself, am I sharing this because it's ready, or because I need to feel seen? Only one of those reasons will help your dream survive. If this resonates with your current energy, take a deep breath and ground yourself in this truth. And if you feel ready to honor the sacred quiet where your miracle is growing, comment below, I protect my seed. I trust in divine timing. Your silence is not emptiness. It's a sacred garden. Let it bloom unseen for now. Sometimes it's not the big choices that pull us backward, it's the small, almost imperceptible ones. Clicking on an old profile. Playing that song that reminds you of what hurt. Staying in bed longer than you need to, scrolling, spiraling, avoiding the day. These moments feel harmless, even comforting. But they aren't neutral. In energy work, everything is a frequency. Every decision is a vibration. And every time you choose the familiar path of emotional numbing or nostalgic escape, you send a signal not just to the universe, but to your own subconscious that you're still aligned with the old version of you. The truth is, most people don't sabotage their healing through dramatic acts. They sabotage it by silently sliding back into rituals of pain disguised as comfort. That's why today, more than ever, you must be vigilant with your energy. You've already cleared so much. The portal you just walked through removed layers of stagnant patterns, relationships, and limiting beliefs. But that also means your field is more open now, more absorbent, more sensitive. And that openness, while beautiful, can also make you more susceptible to energy traps that disguise themselves as normal routines. The Devil card emerges here not to scare you, but to alert you. In the tarot, the devil doesn't always represent evil. It often represents unconscious bondage being tethered to something, not because it holds power over you, but because you still believe it does. That belief is what gives it weight. And today, it's your job to question those ties. Ask yourself, gently, does this choice bring me closer to the person I'm becoming, or deeper into the cycle I've outgrown? You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. But you do need to bring awareness to the micro decisions that shape your momentum. Eating the same foods that numb your body. Watching content that fills your mind with fear or comparison. Talking to someone you know triggers guilt, shame, or doubt. These are not small things. They are access points. And energy flows wherever there is an opening. Think of your healing like a freshly cleaned space. One careless footprint through the mud, and the energy shifts again. Not irreversibly, but enough to make you question yourself. Enough to dull your clarity. And that's exactly what the lower vibrations want, to pull you back into what feels safe but stagnant. In times like this, I often return to a principle I've seen repeated in both spiritual practice and the wisdom of everyday faith, that discipline is a form of devotion. Choosing what's good for you, even when it's not what feels easiest, is how you honor the version of you that's trying to emerge. And no one else has to see that choice. It doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be real. What if today, instead of choosing what numbs you, you chose what nourishes you? What if, instead of replaying that song that aches, you played one that lifts? What if, instead of checking their story, you wrote your own? This isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware. Aware that energy is always communicating. And your actions are always speaking louder than your intentions. So if you're feeling pulled today toward old temptations, old distractions, old stories, pause. Breathe. Then choose again. Because every time you choose the light, you're not just saying no to the past. You're saying yes to the future that's waiting to unfold. If this message stirred something in you, if you know you've been dancing on the edge of those traps, take a moment now and anchor your shift in the comments. Say, I choose awareness. I choose healing. I choose me. Let that be your signal to the universe. And to yourself. It's usually in the quiet after the shift that doubt tries to sneak back in. After you've released the weight, after you've walked away from the people or patterns that no longer align with your future, something inside starts to whisper, was that too much? Am I being too sensitive? What if I misunderstood everything? These aren't just passing thoughts. They're energetic echoes from the version of you that is still healing. And while those questions may feel like logic, they are more often the voice of your ego seeking safety, not truth. This is where your discernment becomes essential. Because deep down, you already know what's real. You felt it. You didn't imagine the shift. You didn't make up the clarity. Your intuition isn't an accident, it's the compass of your soul. What you received during the portal was a message, a knowing, a call to realignment. And today is not the day to second-guess that guidance. When you question the wisdom you were given in moments of spiritual clarity, you begin to unravel the thread that was finally starting to connect the pieces of your healing. That's why this moment is sacred. Not because it's loud or dramatic, but because it's subtle. It's in how you treat yourself when the excitement fades. It's in how you hold your truth when no one is watching. The temptation to isolate, to retract, to unplug from the world in the name of spiritual protection can feel noble, but for an air sign like Libra, who thrives in connection, that impulse often becomes a trap. Your energy isn't meant to hide. It's meant to circulate through aligned conversations, healthy environments, and spaces that reflect your growth, not challenge it. True growth isn't about removing yourself from life. It's about showing up to it as a more aligned version of yourself. Spiritual awakening is not an escape. It's a deeper engagement with yourself, with others, and with the everyday rituals of life. You were never asked to run from the world, you were invited to be light within it. So today, instead of isolating to feel safe, choose intentional presence. Say yes to what uplifts you. Say no to what drains you. But don't disappear from your own life. You didn't come this far to fade into silence. There's a quiet strength in staying visible while protecting your energy. In saying, "I'm still here, just more rooted now." When doubt creeps in, when the loneliness of expansion whispers through the cracks, remember that even Jesus, in moments of great clarity, was tested in the desert. Not because he was weak, but because he was ready to be strengthened. And so are you. You are being asked to trust not blindly, but bravely. To remember what you felt in that moment of truth, and to carry it forward even when your current reality hasn't caught up to your internal shift yet. This is where faith meets practice. This is where belief becomes embodiment. And when you feel unsure, ground yourself in the simple truth: you are not alone. You are not being asked to have it all figured out. You are being asked to stay with it. To walk with it. To let your new self catch up to the path you've chosen. If this speaks to where you are right now, let it settle. Then affirm your alignment in the comments. Write, "I trust my inner knowing. I show up for my healing." And as you do, you'll find you're not alone at all, because others are walking this path with you. Quietly. Courageously. One aligned choice at a time. Energy doesn't lie, it reveals. And once you've moved through a deep energetic clearing like the one you've just experienced, your entire system begins to shift in response. This shift isn't only spiritual, it's cellular. Your nervous system, your hormones, your emotions, everything is recalibrating to align with the new frequency you've chosen. That's why today, Libra, the most sacred thing you can do is allow your body and spirit to rest, integrate, and receive. Healing isn't always about doing more. Sometimes, it's about doing less with more presence. Think of the past few days as a form of energetic surgery. You cut cords, rewrote patterns, and shed layers that were no longer yours to carry. But just as the body needs recovery after a physical procedure, your energy field needs gentle care after a spiritual one. This is not the time to push yourself, to chase results, or to demand clarity from life. Instead, It's a time to softly listen to the quiet voice within that often goes unheard when you're busy proving, performing, or planning. The way you treat yourself today sends a message to the universe about how ready you are to receive what you've asked for. When you nourish your body with warm, healing foods, move with intention, and allow stillness without guilt, you declare, "I am worthy of ease. I am safe in stillness. I trust the process." Something as simple as taking a barefoot walk on the earth or sitting by an open window with your journal becomes an act of spiritual anchoring. You're signaling to life itself that you are creating space for what's coming next, and that space is not meant to be filled with distraction, but with deep readiness. This is also when confirmation begins to appear, not because you're searching for it, but because your energy becomes a magnet for it. A message from someone new. An opportunity that aligns. A quiet realization that you're no longer triggered by what used to unravel you. These are not random. These are signs that your energy is stabilizing, that the seeds you planted are breaking ground. What's important to remember here is that miracles often don't arrive with fireworks. They arrive through a whisper, a subtle shift, a door opening that once felt sealed. The ego may expect grand gestures, but your soul knows better. Your soul knows that peace is the true miracle. That clarity is a gift. That stability, after years of emotional chaos, is the breakthrough you've been waiting for. In my years guiding clients and reading countless astrological charts, I've seen this truth repeat: those who honor the integration phase receive faster, deeper rewards. Not because they hustle for it, but because they embody it. And this is your invitation today to embody what you've shifted. Not just in your words, but in your rest, your presence, and your self-respect. If you've resisted the urge to look back, chosen silence over explanation, protected your intentions, and stayed grounded instead of spiraling, then you've already passed the test. You've proven not just that you can change, but that you can maintain the change. And Libra, that's when the blessings start arriving. So, if you start to notice that certain people no longer reach out, or drama doesn't affect you the same way, or you're suddenly drawn to different conversations, environments, or even types of music, know this: you're not losing anything. You're simply making room for everything that's been waiting to find you. And if that's you, if you feel that something in you has settled, that your heart feels lighter, that the air around you feels new, comment below and claim it: I am aligned. I am ready. I am receiving. Let that be your final anchor in this sacred shift. Because what comes next isn't just your reward, it's the reflection of who you've become. Libra love, the truth is you were never meant to save the whole world. You were simply meant to be fully present with the transformation that is unfolding inside of you. That is enough. That is holy. And that is exactly what this moment has been calling you into. What if changing your world was more than enough to shift everything else? As the energy of November 24th begins to fade into the background, remember that the frequency you held today, the boundaries you upheld, the silence you honored, the choices you made when no one was watching, those don't disappear with the setting sun. They are encoded into your timeline. They are imprinted into the atmosphere around you. And they will ripple outward into your days, your weeks, your future. The portal may have closed, but the impact has just begun. Every miracle you've been asking for is already orbiting around your field, just waiting for an open channel to land. And by walking through today with conscious action and clear intention, you've opened that channel. You didn't just listen, you embodied. You didn't just hope, you aligned. And that, Libra, is the very definition of creating reality from the inside out. So let me ask you now, what would happen if you continued to live this way not just today, but every day? What if you kept choosing your highest timeline even when no one understood it? What if you refused to shrink back into familiar comfort, and instead let your life become the space where miracles find their home? What if you gave yourself permission to truly believe that your path matters, that your healing matters, that your light, no matter how soft or quiet, is still a beacon for someone else who's searching in the dark? This isn't about perfection. It never was. It's about devotion. It's about showing up for the new version of you that was born during this portal. Because you are not the same person who entered it. And you don't have to pretend that you are. Growth doesn't require explanation. Just continuation. So if this video touched something within you today, if you felt seen, if something clicked even subtly, I invite you to seal this experience in your energy field. Comment below to confirm the shift. Write, I am protected, I choose my highest timeline, or I am ready to receive my new miracle. Let those words be your declaration to yourself and to the universe that you're serious about what's next. And if you feel called, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, Zodiac Whisper Tarot. This is more than a space for predictions, it's a sanctuary for alignment, a gathering of old souls on new journeys, a lighthouse for those navigating unknown waters. Every like, every comment, every share sends a signal that you're ready to receive more, and it helps this healing message reach the hearts that need it most. Thank you for your time, your energy, your open heart. Thank you for showing up with honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. Thank you for choosing to stay until the very end because you trusted that something here was meant for you. And it was. Libra, the world may never notice the shift you made today, but the universe already has. Now go, live in the light you just reclaimed. Let your new reality unfold with grace. And remember, you are protected. You are chosen. And you are more than ready.